Shalom Yasharala. Before we go into this lesson, we give our honor, our glory, and our praises be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Akakwadash. We give double honor to the apostles and prophets and elders of James Camp, better known as Great Millstone, for they bring forth the 100% truth that have been currently edified under. Shalom to the elect, the tabernacle of David, and I, Roberto Zaria, coming through this lesson. We're dealing with the chariots of Yahweh. Let's start with a precept, because many people may not understand when we speak about the chariots of Yahweh, which you will call today UFOs, which the Bible also call chariots, clouds, flying rolls, and etc. etc. They tend to believe that chariots is a vehicle with horses, like what Pharaoh would have rode on. But the chariots is not exactly that. More so the vehicle or the aircraft of Yahweh. Right? Let's read. Starting with Psalm chapter 68 and verse 17, it says, right, the chariots of power are 20,000, even thousands of angels. It says that Yahweh is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. And the reason why we could go into this, because remember, in those times, the children of Israel, when they were in the wilderness, would have been visited numerous times, and we could even show that. But let's start off with the story in the time of Egypt, when the children of Israel fled from from Pharaoh, as they had an opportunity to enter into the wilderness, where Pharaoh decided to follow after. And what took place? A pillar of cloud, which let's read it, because that pillar of cloud is also known as a chariot. Pillar of fire, a pillar of cloud, pillar of fire is also known as a chariot, to be exact. We could show that. That's not how we could show that. So let's read. Exodus chapter 14 and verses 22. Start at verse 22 and it goes in to say. So let me see. Yeah. Right. There we will start verses 13 and we jump down. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them no more forever. Which we can tell you, there's no true Egyptians in the land of Egypt right now that is holding the land and having power. They are stripped from the power according to prophecy and history. To the point where when you go there are other people that claiming themselves to be Egyptians. If you understand where I'm coming from. Right, let's keep going. It says, Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou... jump down to verses 19, Salak. Verse 18, it says, and Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horses. I see difference. Now watch. And the angels, jumping down, and the angels, let me read down, so you can see the understanding. I don't want to pass it. And Yahweh said to Moses, wherefore, verse 15, wherefore criest thou unto me, speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward, but lift thou up thy rod. Here's the point. Lift thou up thy rod, right? And stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. So, and I beheld, I will behold, I will harden the heart of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon all his host, upon his chariots, and upon their horses. So now we can go back into it. So go back into 19 now. And the angel of power which sent me before the camp of Israel removed and went behind. And moved and went behind them, and the pillar of fire went from before their face and stood behind them. Notice where it says, and the angel of power, because as we understand, in many instances in the scriptures, who are driving these vehicles? Simple. Alahayams, the angels. So when it says the angel of power, which sent before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of fire pillar of cloud, went from before their face and stood behind them. That exact same chariot, the pillar of cloud, stood behind them, and it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. So it prevent the Egyptians from moving forward. Right, we're going good so far. And it was a cloud and darkness to them. To them it was a cloud and darkness, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. And Moses, like, keep going. And Moses stretched out his hands over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by its strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. So in other words, the waters was held up, most likely being frozen. That's why it's called a wall now, not a water. It was like a wall unto them. So it was more so either frozen or whatever device that the chariots would have had to prevent it from moving in as it was separated, whatever it was. And listen to what it says. And the children of and the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the middle of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses and his chariots and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch Yahweh looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and the pillar of cloud, which is what? The chariots, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. What would you mean by trouble them? More so to attack, or to prevent them from moving the way they want to move, and took off their chariots' wheels, which again would issue an attack. Just like in 2nd Ezra chapter 13, where it had the giant mountain, and out of the mountain came with 2 chariots, and the chariots are, and what were they releasing? Blasts of fire, lasers. It's simple. Blast of fire. So if the cloud, the pillar of fire, or the pillar of cloud was able to trouble the host of the Egyptians by taking off the wheels of the chariots, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the face of Yahweh, for Yahweh fighteth for them against the Egyptians." It's made very clear here the difference between a chariot with the wheels and the horses and a pillar of fire or cloud. It's made very clear. In order for the pillar of cloud or fire to move from the face of of Israel and instantly get behind them without harming anyone, it would either be by what? Teleportation or flight. Simple. Let's keep going though. Let's keep going. We ain't done. And Moses stretched forth, and Yahweh said, and Yahweh said unto Moses, "Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen." And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned his strength. When the morning appeared, the Egyptians fled against it, and Yahweh overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. In other words, let's read here. But in other words, they died. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not as much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them in their right hand and on their left. And again, in other words, they died. The Egyptians that were followed after to attack got attacked by the pillars of fire and the pillar of cloud. And guess what? As it slowed them down, the Father commanded Moses to stretch forth his hand so the water could come back to recede unto them, and they died. Now you can't tell me that is the same thing, a vehicle with a wheel and horses. Let's be real at this point in time. Let's be real. Because these are the same pillar of fire and the pillar of cloud that would have given shade to the children of Israel when they were in the wilderness and visited them. It was a normal thing to the children of Israel as they were saved from Egypt by the Father. He revealed himself unto them via these chariots, the vehicles, the pillar of fire and the pillar of smoke. Sorry, pillar of cloud, pillar of fire and pillar of cloud. I keep saying pillar of smoke, pillar of cloud. Let me jump. Let me see if I think there was one particular precept in verses Exodus 13. Let me see. There's no Yep, right here. Correct. And Moses took them and took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, Power will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took their journey from Succoth, and encamped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness, and Yahweh went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them the way, and by night in the pillar of fire to give them light to go by the day and night. He took not away the pillar of cloud by day, what the pillar of cloud was used for, to shade them from the excess sun and to lead them or to direct their path. He took not away the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night. What the pillar of fire by night was used for? To give them light at night and to direct their path from before the people. In order for you to shade them and direct them, you would have to be above them. In order to bring light onto all of them and still direct them, you would have to be above them. Are we putting this together, or are we still in want to make excuses? That's all I'm saying. Because when they go into Zechariah, it made it clear. Let's get that precept immediately. Zechariah chapter 6 and verses 1, I believe, where the flying rolls. Let's read. It says, and I turned to lift up mine eyes, and look. So he looked above. And looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. And the first chariot was wrong one. This is wrong, but let's go into it. The first chariot was a red horse, and the second chariot was a black horse. The third chariot was a white horse, and the fourth chariot was a grizzled and bay horse. Now this is the wrong precept, but let's keep going. Then I answered and said unto the angels that talked with me, What are these, my Lord? And the angels answered and said unto me, These are the 4 spirits of heavens, which go forth from standing before Yahweh of all of all the earth. So they are also called the spirits of heaven, which I think one of the brothers had brought it out. I think Yasharala Manasapat, I believe, in one of his lives on TikTok before. But this is the precept I was looking for. That's 6 verses 5. So let's get into it. It still adds up. It directly tells you, but this makes it even more better. Zechariah chapter 5 verses 1. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he that said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. And we know according to the scriptures, Esau, Edom had steal the people of the children of Israel and the land. This is why scripture says what? He that leadeth the captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So, but he's seeing these flying rolls, which is known as what? The clouds of the Father, the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire, pillar of cloud, pillar of fire, or the chariots, according to the scriptures. These are what goes to and forth on the earth, which is why if it's revealing itself more than ever, as it is a curse, it means that it's going to be bringing forth judgment soon enough, which is why we have many situations with even on door cameras where chariots was recorded, seen. There have been many chariots has been showing itself. Every day as I go out, almost every day I see chariots. I'm not even joking. Whether they be stand still, there's no one look, or whether they be moving. When we was in Makarip with all the brothers, we literally saw, and I counted them, 5 chariots and then 2 after. It's 7. And they flew from next to each other, then they flew separate, and then they disappeared. Makrib, just during the one of the feasts, we were all witness to it. Out of the mouth of 2 and 3 witnesses that we saw these chariots. And there are many people that was aside from us, that is not with us, and they saw it too. So, I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter how much you try to say it's not true. In fact, it is. It has been a very common thing in concerning the children of Israel, because let's get one. Let's look again, Exodus chapter 33 and verses 9 and 10. Here it says, and it came to pass, as Moses entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle, and Yahweh talked with Moses. So what happened? What took place? A cloudy pillar, a pillar of cloud, or a pillar of fire, however you want to see it, descended from the sky as you see in here. Am I reading? Is it me or is it what this is? Descended from the sky and conversed with Moses. And all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door, and all the people rose up and worshipped everyone in his tent. This was a common and normal thing to the children of Israel back in the time where they were obedient, and even in their disobedience, they still were learning the ways of the Father, so he would show his way unto them. Another precept. We ain't done. Let's go verse 34. Verses 5. And again. Let's go from the table. It says, and he hewed 2 tables of stone unto the first, of stone like unto the first. And Moses rose up early in the morning and went up upon Mount Sinai, as Yahweh had commanded him, to took in his hands 2 tables of stone. And Yahweh descended in the cloud. He descended in a what? Cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. Right there. I didn't make this up. Let's keep going. Now we understand what he's talking about when he say cloud, or cloudy pillar, or pillar of cloud, or pillar of fire, or what, or chariots, or flying roll. Now you understand. Let's keep going. I ain't done. It have plenty more in here, but I'll take the precise ones. That's all. Jumping down. Alright, it says verse 34, straight to the point. 14 verse 34. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of Yahweh filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of Yahweh filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journey. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. So the cloud what? Ascended back up. For the cloud of Yahweh was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night. We know what the fire was for. It was to shine the way for the children of Israel. It's a light unto them at night time. So in the day, you would barely see the fire, but in the night, you would see more problem because it's dark. It's simple, which is why, again, in the night, you see the blinking of the chariots, but in the day, you don't see them. This is not rocket science. Just do your diligent research. Instead of trying to say, that's not true, that ain't making no sense, literally read Exodus. It tells you. But anyways, for the cloud of Yahweh was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all his holy, of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. Not to mention, let me get a precept one time. Look at his cloud. Right here. Verse Psalms 104 verse 3. Who laid beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots. And what are these chariots? As we see, flying rolls, which was even identified by its size. So he maketh the cloud what? His chariots, who walked upon the wings of the wind. Not to mention, go back into verse 68. I know it's a long way to do this, but let me just do it. I'm feeling to do it right now. 68. It tells you, and verse 17, the chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even 20,000 of angels. It says Yahweh is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. So we just read about Sinai in the holy place. And before they reach the Sinai, we also read of the Father giving the angels commandment to go behind the children of Israel, which then the same pillar of cloud did. So who is driving these chariots? The Alahims, the angels. That's why it says, even thousands of angels. Those are the ones that are in the chariots. Those are the ones driving these vehicles back and forth that cannot be destroyed. They tried and they failed. Some teleport, some fly so fast they couldn't even see it. Some even according to certain videos, whether they be true or not, but we know they have the power to do so. But some, even when they shoot at them, the missile went through the chariot. Because like I said, they have the power to do so. It's also referred to the Spirit of the Lord, which was mentioned in Zechariah. This is why, let's read that precept. A cloud received him. There's a precept. Let's see, in the New Testament. Oh, there's one particular one that you're supposed to know by now. Let's go into this immediately because we know. It says then what? Um, right. Let me read from no Mark. I think Mark make it more clear to be exact. So let me just read from Mark, I guess. It says, and Peter answered and said unto Yahushua, Master, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. For he wist not what to say. For this they were so afraid, and there was a cloud that overshadowed them. And a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my beloved son, hear him. In the same manner, like up, no, I need to because I was looking for the baptism. Alright? That's it. That's less. That is what I was going into with the baptism. But the next one was first. But let's go. Verse 13. Then cometh Yahushua from Galilee to Jordan unto John to be baptized of him. But John forbade him, saying, I have need to be baptized of thee, and comest thou to me? And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. Then he suffereth him. And Yahushua, and when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the waters, and lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of power descending. Again, we read what the Spirit of power was. Let's go back. Now he saw the Spirit of power descending like a dove and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven saying, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Now you understand the Spirit of power that descended like a dove, that they so foolishly misunderstand, these Christians. And you have many Israelites following in the same concept. The same cloud that came down like a dove with the voice of Yahweh is the same cloud. Now let's read. Forget. Oh, I'll just type in close and find it, yes? Right here. Right here. You can't miss it. It says Lego from verses 6. Verse 7. And he said unto them, straight to the point, It is not for you to know the times or the season which the Father had put in his own power. Right? But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witness unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and into the uttermost part of the earth, which we are in today. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up and a cloud received him out of their sight. That's the exact same cloud that came down as a Spirit of God, speaking unto Yahushua, say, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Now that we identified that the clouds, the clouds, which is the Spirit of power, is the chariots mentioned in Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. The pillar, the flying rolls, which is also mentioned, the cloudy pillars, the pillar of fire, the chariots of Yahweh, because it says He maketh the clouds His chariots. And who is in these chariots, as mentioned? Thousands of angels, as in thousands of chariots. Now that we understand that, I hope this lesson edifying enough. We don't even have to put the piece together because it was already said. So I hope this is why when the scripture says, let's go to Revelations immediately to finish it off. Now, I'll jump in second Ezra, but it's a long read. I don't mind, but it's a long read, but you could do a part 2 or something on next time. So let's go into the return. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. Why are they wailing? Because what he's coming to do. So you see coming with the clouds, which are what? The chariots. The same chariots that attack the vehicles of the Egyptians and remove one of the wheels. Right? Let's keep going. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, which is what represents the power, the pure power of the Father, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. So these white horses that has the pure power, if Yahweh Shai is coming on the clouds, and then this is called the horses, what does it mean? Chariots. Simple. Again, simple. Was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. And here it says, his eyes was a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had name written there that no man knew but he himself. Why would he have many crowns of the earth? Which is why these people would have been wailing. Why? Because what? Let's read. Revelation chapter 11, verses 15. And 7 angels sounded, and there were a great voice in heaven, saying, the kingdom of the world are become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Hamashiach, and he shall reign forever and ever. Which means what? He would have taken the crowns of the kings of the earth with his power, which is him and the chariots. These are what, and not to mention the elect of Israel. These are what you are going to be feared for, which is why today they are showing themselves more than ever to bring forth, eventually they are going to be there to bring forth that judgment. Not to mention going to and fro on the earth, recording everything that is being done, so that what against the children of Israel, everything the children of Israel are doing at the same time, so judgment could be passed. Now you could just say what? The eyes of Yahweh is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. He sees it all. And if they are all over the place, there's nothing he could miss. So, I mean, come on, make it make sense at this point in time. Which is why, let go back in Revelation, let go back into it. This is why what? Let go back into it, verse 7. Behold, he cometh clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. That way he goes on to give the title, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yahweh Shai, which is and was and which is to come, the Almighty. Simple. He was created first before everything else was created, but he was created by the Father. So he is the first. He has a record of beginning, not the Father, not the one who sent him. See? It's not hard. So I hope this lesson here would be edifying. I hope this make you understand more of the chariots according to the scriptures. This is Shalom Yashurala, Kal Halalyam Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rekakodash. We give double honors to the apostles and prophets and elders of James Camp, but to us great minister for the bring forth the 100% truth that we currently edified under. Shalom to the elect, the tabernacle of David, and I am my brother Zariak saying to you, Shalom.